Hey, welcome back, everybody. Today's episode is about the evolution of video games. Because, let me tell you, I love playing video games. I'm 36 years old, but still can't get enough of them. It's wild. I go back to when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I'm playing the Atari. And didn't play it much, but always tried to figure it out because I didn't know much when I was that little. But I remember when Mario Brothers came out shortly after that, you know, that was one of the coolest games that I ever got to play. I loved playing it. When you were a kid, you were all excited over that. You got to open it up, on Christmas or, birthday. I think it was Christmas that I got that. But really excited to play it and, was really enjoying it. It had a lot of great games on the Nintendo, on the old school NES. You had, Skate or Die and Contra. Everybody loved Contra. And, of course, everybody remembered up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, start. Everybody remembered that one because that was the extra lives code. And that's the way games were back then. Games were all about codes. You had to, either subscribe to Nintendo Power or you had to get, one of them little paperback books that had, 100 games with 100 different codes and how to do things. It was just funny back when you were a kid because, I didn't have very many friends when I was a kid until about 7th or 8th grade. That was really where I was in elementary school. I didn't have any friends that came over and hung out. I had a lot of relatives, that were my age, cousins and things like that. So that was always fun playing. And then you got the 90s. 90s were always awesome because you had the big console wars where you had the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis and the 3DO, which was pretty much not even competition because most people hated it or very few people. I think I had one friend that had it, and yeah, it sucked. But you had two great consoles there. You had the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis. I originally had a Super Nintendo for a long period of time. That was where I followed suit. It had Super Mario World on there, Beavis and Butthead. That was one of my favorite games, and they had a one called Generation X where you were pretty much trying to save Aerosmith, which was pretty awesome. I love that. You were shooting CDs at bad guys. It was pretty cool. Yeah, because back then the football games were even different. Tecmo Bowl back in the 80s. Anybody who's my age around that era will tell you that was one of the best games they ever made for that system. And, compared to today, it's so wild because back then you couldn't go to an online store. You couldn't go, download a map. What you had with the game is what you had with the game. You didn't know very much thanks to the internet. You had only Nintendo Power really to describe it. Maybe a few other magazines. It's funny. It's just the big differences in games today versus then. Now, let's see, I got an Xbox One, so I can pretty much, go buy a game online, which I laughed because I went up to GameStop one time to go trade in some old games because I was just I don't need these anymore and don't really play them. And the guy's like, why are you doing that? I'm like, because I can buy them online if I want to, It's like, are you worried about this machine crashing down? No. Because, to get the next system, I usually wait about a year after, to get the latest system. That's my strategy. Because that's when the online stuff starts going away and they start going, okay, it's harder and harder to play things online. So I generally don't buy a new system fresh out the bat. I do not do that. It's hilarious. Because even in the 2000s, you had the PS1, and the Nintendo 64. That awkward ass controller for the Nintendo 64 looked like a Batarang. It was pretty much like this. It was there was this little hook right here and then right down the middle. You had a joystick in the middle of the thing to move around. It was very awkward. It wasn't like you had your D-pad and A and B on one side and be able to do things. I like the games on there. Of course, GoldenEye is probably the most commonly I've heard that people love on that system. That and WWE No Mercy. That was truly probably the best wrestling game ever made. Just the storylines and everything like that. But you go to the day's games, it's so wild. I mean, between even playing a basic game like Risk, a board game, playing that online. It's awesome because, you talk to people online and everybody's always talking trash. It's a huge strategy game, so that's definitely up my alley, And finally this week, as some of you know, they took some of the Xbox 360 games and, allowed them to be played on your Xbox One. There were backwards compatible games finally, like Black Ops 2. I loved Black Ops 2. I do not like Black Ops 3. The whole jumping and flying through the air, and I was like, this is Halo, and I wasn't a big fan of Halo. Sorry, it's just the way it is. I was a big fan of Black Ops 2. That was more militaristic, strategy. Of course, the frustration's still there ever since the 80s. I mean, if it wasn't challenging, it was just poorly developed on some games. I always think a good challenge game, though. Like, right now I'm playing the old Xbox 360 game, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. And that is one hell of a challenge because you got to go through the whole castle. You literally have to be able to find 100% of the castle. I'm not even sure what happens afterward. According to what I heard, it actually turns upside down. You got to do it again. Try to fight Dracula. I mean, it's a very challenging game. But, that's definitely what I've always loved about video games, the challenge of them. And when your friends come over, it was always cool. I mean, especially like middle school, high school. I always had friends that would come over. We would play the wrestling games, or we would play Beavis and Butthead, or Street Fighter, or Mortal Kombat. Yeah, those were common games right there. But that's why I enjoyed them. I really thought they were just that great of games. To be able to go out there, beat your friends up, have some fun. People are always talking about great games. I mean, the big game that's coming out soon, I don't know when, and I read the Facebook page on it quite often. That's the Friday the 13th game. I've heard so much hype on this, I'm a little scared to play it. I mean, it's funny, that they would, take so long to develop an actual Friday the 13th game. This was supposed to come out, originally late last year. Now it's supposed to be early 17, which they got until April, the end of April. That might be coming out then. I've also heard October, and nobody knows for sure. That is definitely going to be a great game because pretty much you're one of the characters. You're either one of the counselors or you're Jason. And your goal is to kill Jason and become Jason to get points. Jason is the way you get points, of course, by killing the counselors. Counselors run around and hide, in the graphics, and if you haven't seen the graphics, I suggest you look on YouTube somewhere or any of the other sites and be able to find that. That is one hell of a game. The deaths in that game are amazing. Well, there you go. That's my evolution on video games. A little excerpt there. Might make one more today, but if you can, like it, subscribe, tell me what you think, give me some criticism, tell me what I need to do better. I've actually gotten some messages from friends about a couple of videos that I've done, especially the bullying. I mean, that was a good video, and a few other ones I've done as well. But thanks for tuning in. I hope y'all have a great day, and there you go.